United States is deeply troubled by the passage of the legislation. And he's saying that this will indeed affect a lot of persons who live in Ghana. What's your thought on his statement?
I'd expect Miller to respect the tenets of democracy, and the entire United States government needs to bear in mind that Ghana is a sovereign country. Ghana is not the 51st state of the United States. Ghana is a sovereign state on its own. The sovereign...
Sam George, it's really, really good to have you this morning.
Very good morning to you, and good morning to my brothers and sisters in Nigeria and across the African continent.
Great. I'm going to go straight with the reactions, because yesterday we did talk about this bill, and there are indeed conversations still trending concerning this particular bill. Now, you have been at the forefront to ensure that this bill is passed, but just a few hours after that bill was passed, a spokesperson for the United States Department of State, that's Matthew Miller, has come to say that the United States is deeply troubled by the passage of the legislation. And he's saying that this will indeed affect a lot of persons who live in Ghana. What's your thought on his statement?
I'd expect Miller to respect the tenets of democracy, and the entire United States government needs to bear in mind that Ghana is a sovereign country. We are opposed to cultural imperialism. Just 2 weeks ago, the U.S. Department of State, when called upon to intervene in Israel, the Israeli campaign in Gaza Strip, said that it was not the position of the U.S. Department of State to intervene in the local matters of sovereign states. Ghana is not the 51st state of the United States. Ghana is a sovereign state on its own. The sovereign parliament of Ghana has passed a bill, and I think that Matthew Miller should be more interested in the loss of life of Americans' children in American schools to gun violence. Those where it matters and not where it doesn't matter. They're not invited in Ghana's local politics where our parliament has passed the law.
Seeing exactly how Uganda was treated in some measure after they had passed the bill, are there concerns that Ghana might face that same treatment?
Well, Ghana is a proud African nation, first country in the sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence and lead the light for the rest of Africa. I expect the leaders of our country, the president of our country, to stand shoulder high and tell the American people, you either do business with us on our terms or you can walk. American businesses that operate in Ghana are not in Ghana because of LGBTQ. They are in Ghana because they make a profit. If you're an American business working in Ghana, you turn $100 million in profit every year. If you think that because we are protecting our cultural values and saying no to LGBTQ, you want to lose $100 million in profit, pack up and go. Another company will come into Ghana and do business. Ghana is a fertile ground for business. Look, Africa must begin to assert our rights. We are not puppets and stooges of the West. Look at Uganda. Uganda's economy is not as big as Ghana's economy, but per the Economist Intelligence Unit, the EIU, the 2024 report, Uganda is going to have the 6th fastest growing economy in Africa in 2024. And it's just the sheer hypocrisy of America and the West. Qatar buys over $1 billion of military hardware every year from America. The punishment for homosexuality in Qatar is death. Nigeria passed a same-sex marriage bill as far back as 2015. In fact, your bill is more punitive than Ghana's bill. In Nigeria, the punishment in your law for same-sex marriage is 14 years imprisonment. The maximum in Ghana's law is just 3 years elapsed. We need to begin to stand. The American economy would not run, and the Western economies will not run without African raw material. I think it's time we begin to look at adding value to our own raw material. Why should Ghanaian cocoa and Nigerian cocoa be traded on the New York Stock Exchange and not on the Ghanaian Stock Exchange and Nigerian Stock Exchange? If we begin to assert ourselves, these guys will know that they have to deal with us on equal terms. They're not doing us a favor. We're doing them a favor. The best doctors in the United States medical system are Ghanaians and Nigerians. The best economists on Wall Street are Ghanaians and Nigerians. They're not better than us. We sit in the same classroom with them and beat them every day. Academically, intellectually, we're better than them. But it's simply because we've not asserted our rights as Africans, because we want to go for cheap hand-me-downs. And I keep repeating, the IMF and the World Bank are banks banks operate by giving loans and making profit of the interest of those loans. So they should not threaten us. I mean, a bank should not be threatening the customer and saying, I won't give you a loan if you don't do what I want. If I don't come to you for a loan, you don't turn a profit. And so our economies are what run those multinational banks. And until we begin to assert ourselves and begin to trade more amongst ourselves, Ghana should begin to buy more rice from Nigeria, and Nigeria should begin to buy more salt from Ghana. We don't need to be going to the West for this. That's our problem as Africa.